Okay, yes, I get it. That was the last time that Riversong was ever going to kiss the Doctor, and that was the first time that the Doctor ever kissed Riversong, and that's why she reacted the way she did. I get it! I'm stupid! I get it! Oh, and also, in case you were wondering about what happened with me asking about the little girl, click here to check out the deleted scene. If you didn't see already, see the video on Monday. Anyway, time to start the video. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 60 of Discovering Doctor Who. Holy crap, we've made it to 60. It's amazing. But the episode I'm going to be talking about today is The Curse of the Black Spot, an episode with pirates. Arr! I can't guarantee I won't do that again this episode. Anyway, possibly from the length of the episode you might have an idea of what I think about it, but let's see whether or not that holds up. Let's start with my favorite parts about this episode, starting with when the Doctor meets the pirates. That part right at the end of the intro scene, it cracked me up. He pops out, "Yo ho ho!" Or does nobody actually say that? Because it's just such a classic moment of, I mean, as even an adult, but as kids we're just like, pirates, yo ho ho, and all that, all that jazz. And, one can only assume it's made up, or maybe there was one very stylish pirate that made all that famous. Who knows? I don't. Maybe historians do. But anyway, just that little intro scene was great, a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. The number two favorite part about this episode was the idea of the Siren. The idea of the Siren. And we went from the Doctor was basically, making his theories, and he has one line. It's not my favorite line of the episode, but he basically says, or talks about how curses are basically people will blame curses on things that they don't yet understand, on bad events they don't understand, and they don't want to take the time to understand it or find a way to learn about it. I'm very much paraphrasing there, but the idea of the Siren and how it evolves from, okay, well, we might actually have a spirit here, or maybe he thinks it could be an alien of some sort, kind of like how or basically, there's a true explanation behind it all, because it does actually end up being an alien. But when we move into the part where he says that there's always some truth behind, certain legends. So it's like, maybe there is something true about the whole Siren mythology, especially in that particular situation. And just the way that she was portrayed at first, and it wasn't particularly scary, it was more entertaining than anything. I found that to be rather interesting, and how by touching someone, I mean, they basically just cease to exist, they explode. That was, I really, really like that. No, more on that in a little bit when I touch on her again, but moving on. My third favorite part about this episode was Amy the pirate. Yes, it only lasts for a short little while, but when she, basically gets thrown into that room, and she grabs the cutlass and throws on the captain's wardrobe and hat, or basically a pirate's wardrobe and hat, I just thought that was amazing. Because, let's face it, Amy is pretty much the quintessential badass. Of any of the three, as much as the Doctor has gone through, as much as what the Doctor does. If you're just facing off against regular humans, I would rather have the Amy on my side, because, I mean, she's going to intimidate the crap out of people. And I'm not going to be intimidating anyone with this face and a Adventure Island t-shirt. But yeah, Amy the pirate was just awesome. Now, my fourth favorite part about this episode was Amy and Rory. The whole interaction between them in this entire episode. How after Rory gets cut or nicked, whatever it was happened to him, and the Siren starts taking him under her spell, and he says things that, basically, if he was saying without being under that spell, would get him in a lot of trouble with the woman he's married to. Which even Amy sort of commented on, because she says at one point, "You're in enough trouble already," and she actually kind of chuckles at that. So that wasn't exactly breaking the fourth wall, but I found that moment really funny. And throughout the episode, just her protecting him and I mean, the shame that he felt when he was told one of the things he said about the siren, like, you know, one of the most beautiful creatures in the world. And he's just like, oh, did I really say that? And there was no, like, joking about it. He looked legitimately sorry for saying that. And then near the end, where he's strapped into that alien system or whatever, and you know, he's telling Amy that, you know, she's basically going to have to save his life doing CPR and not the Heimlich maneuver, but basically CPR, resuscitate him back to life. And just the whole interaction there was just so good, because you could see the love in Rory's eyes, and you could, when we think Rory is dead again, you know, just the pure emotion portrayed by Karen Gillan, or Gillan, as Amy, just like, that was just so good. It was really well done, and just, again, the two of them in this episode was just great. I absolutely loved it. And my fifth favorite part about this episode was the Doctor and Captain Avery. Mostly having to do with their little back and forth interactions about being a captain, basically starting when they first get on the TARDIS. Just Captain Avery basically says, you know, a ship's a ship. So, you know, you have your periscope, you have your compass, you have your wheel, and then they go back and forth with that a little bit, kind of building up a sort of a friendship after that whole Captain Avery is very, like, I'm the captain here. I really enjoyed their back and forth, and the camaraderie there was just, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, but throughout this entire episode, the two of them, the dynamics they go through with their interactions, I found to be a lot of fun and really interesting. Now, my sixth and final favorite part about this episode is right at the end, where the Doctor comments about how he is worried about Amelia, and she comments that he only calls her Amelia when he's worried about her. And then, you know, we see the whole little scene of him staring at the screen and whether or not she's pregnant. It keeps going back and forth between pregnant and not pregnant, or rather positive and negative. And that's pretty interesting, pretty worrisome, which will actually bring me to that'll later bring me to the question for the upcoming episodes. But let's move on into my annoyances with this episode. And there's only two, but I feel like they're pretty big, unfortunately, at least from my perspective. My first annoyance with this episode was the pirates. Now, overall, I find pirates to be a very interesting subject. I find them to be a very interesting part of history on this planet. I was kind of let down by the fact that the pirate wasn't... Like, I was thinking, are we going to be visiting Blackbeard? Are we going to be visiting one of the classic pirates? And then with Amy, you know, getting all up in her gear, is she going to be sort of mistaken as one of the classic, like, badass female pirates? I was kind of hoping they would do something sort of in that direction, but, you know, we just kind of had no-name, ordinary pirates on the sea. Unless Captain Avery is someone from history that I just don't know. Yeah, it's just that was kind of a letdown, and I don't know, it's just, it seems like they just could have done more with that overall. But moving on, my second annoyance with this episode was the Siren. And it kind of has to do with one, confusion about what she does as the Siren, and also what kind of seems like inconsistencies but might not be. It was kind of hard to tell. Well, first of all, I feel like they could have done a blink or possibly even the Silence-esque deal with her. More so blink. I mean, especially if she can appear from any reflective surface. That could have been a really scary episode overall, in my opinion. As I maybe not take it into an entire 2 episodes, but I feel like they could have. I just feel like they could have done so much more with her. And then one thing that still confuses me is when we actually see her make one of the guys disappear, he basically explodes. And it's not like, you know, just one of those, like, you know, oh, light blip, he's gone. But it reminded me of when people have gotten disintegrated in previous episodes, like back in the Tennant episodes, and possibly even Eccleston's episodes. But it's like, you know, people would just turn to dust and disappear. And that's what happened to this guy. So, I don't know, I feel like if they wanted it to appear more like they were just disappearing, they should have made sure that everyone basically like disappeared off camera, or maybe even just have a blink of light that the person disappears in. Like they glow the same color as the siren and then disappear. Like that would have made more sense. But just the fact that we have someone seemingly explode / disintegrate into particles, just it felt misleading and just inconsistent, I guess, overall. Now, I do have some other issues with the siren overall, but those are my main points, I guess you would say. The actress was quite pretty. I thought they picked a wonderful actress to do it. Unfortunately, she didn't actually say anything other than the singing, which may not have actually even been her. But yeah, it's just overall, unfortunately, my two main annoyances with this episode were the pirates and the siren. Now, to get into my favorite song of the episode, now, after listening through the soundtrack, the one that just comes to mind for me is the first one of the episode, You're a Dead Man, which incorporates some theme from the episode itself and also a bit of the Doctor's theme, I feel like, or maybe it's I Am the Doctor, something like that. But just the combination there just made for a really great, dynamic, and very piratey theme. I really enjoyed it, and that's why, that's my song of the episode. Let me know what your song of the episode was. I mean, there's a handful of others, but for me, that was the song of the episode. Moving on, my quote of the episode. It was pretty easy to pick. It's like I basically only had 2 or maybe 3 that seemed like they were actually quote-worthy. Overall, I felt like this episode was a bit lacking as far as witty dialogue or even good quotes go. But the one I chose is actually from Rory, and it's when he's talking to Amy. It's not the emotional point, it's sort of like a funny point. But what he says is this: I know you can do this. Of course, if you muck it up, I'm going to be really cross and dead. I really enjoyed that because, I mean, it's part of a scene where he's showing how much he trusts Amy, how much he loves her, and at the same time, he's showing some humor about it to kind of lighten the mood. So I found it to be really, really cool and a lot of fun. Now, as for my overall thoughts about this episode, it's okay. Again, it's like I feel like overall they could have done a lot more with this episode. Now, admittedly, after was, pretty emotional, pretty strong opener for the season, we needed a little bit of levity. We needed something lighter for the 3rd episode of this season. But I don't know, I almost feel like they should have put something else for this episode and then have this one come maybe a few episodes from now and have made the siren a real menace. Because, again, it's like even if they held on to the really weird ending, which I'm kind of iffy on. It wasn't a major annoyance, but it was just kind of iffy for me. Had they made her just like appear all of a sudden, or just be more foreboding overall, didn't show her all the time, it could have been a lot better in that regard. And again, doing more with the pirates. But as far as it being an entertaining episode, it definitely hit the mark. Entertainment-wise, I feel like it was rather strong. Just unfortunately, a lot of the substance to it felt a bit weak for me, aside from the parts with Amy and Rory. The Doctor, again, I really enjoyed his moments with Captain Avery, but there wasn't really a lot of character building for him overall. Not that that's necessary, but at least we had the positive aspect of more character growing from Rory and Amy, at least to a point. So yeah, it's okay, but it's definitely an entertaining and pretty good episode. Yeah, I don't know if some of you all hated this one, let me know why. If some of you loved it, please let me know why, because maybe I'm just missing something, or maybe I am overthinking a certain aspect of it that I shouldn't. It definitely happens. But moving on from there, the next episode we're going to be doing is The Doctor's Wife, and I'm really interested to see what happens there. See if my theory of River Song being the Doctor's wife is true. I don't know whether or not that's going to be an actual thing. I did not watch the previews, so I don't know what's going to happen, but fingers crossed. I'm really interested to see if my old prediction from the first time we met River might be related to that. But especially since I forgot my question of the episode last time, going forward, the question I have is, who is the eye patch lady? Now, yes, she was in the 2-parter from before. When I didn't comment on her, I'm going to blame that on the silence. But who is she? And I don't know. I can't help but feel like it has something to do with Amy's pregnancy. Especially the way she's talking to her. It's almost like a doctor talking to a pregnant woman. It's like, you know, just sort of like giving instructions, like, you know, you're doing fine, you're doing great. Yeah, I'm just really interested to see. Now, obviously, you all can't answer that question for me because it's going to be something I'll find out over time, but I am definitely interested to see what comes of that. And hopefully it's not going to be one of those issues that gets answered in Season 7, because that would be really annoying. But, yeah, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that I'll be able to figure out or learn who the eye patch lady is before long. But other than that, everyone, thank you very much for watching this episode of Discovering Doctor Who. It's a little bit shorter than others, which, again, it's like may have been a bit of an indicator as far as you know, what I might have thought about this episode. But ready to move on to the next one. I'm going to do my best to get a new episode out on Friday or possibly Saturday. Friday is going to be the main goal for now. Do be on the lookout for an update on the schedule concerning Discovering Doctor Who, and really this channel overall, on Thursday. On Thursday I'm going to be having it's going to be a quick little update just to let you all know what my plans are for this year, or at least to an extent in the short term. Now also, and including this video today going live on Tuesday, I have another video that's going live over at a little collaboration channel that I'm doing with some friends. It's related to video games, and I have a main series that I'm working on, but it's still, I have a lot to do for that one. So I did a hardware review for a system called the Retro Duo Pro. And if you're interested in that at all, please click here. I'll attach a link so you can go check that out. Go check out the, it's called the Cult of Awesome YouTube channel. And, you know, maybe go check out my friends' videos that have gone up as well. We have sort of a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule going on. So, you know, a little bit of something going up every week. But that aside, I've been rambling too long. Everyone, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I will see you next time for The Doctor's Wife. Until then, Alonzi!